Hi Expressions, my name is Linda Kumete. I'm your street channel for the day, and today on the show we're talking about nothing else but human trafficking. We're right here on the streets of Johannesburg, Gandhi Square to be precise, looking for young people to give us their own expressions and perceptions of the topic. Just stay tuned and listen to what the young people have to say and enjoy.
As the youth of South Africa, obviously we want opportunities, and looking at a recent scenario that happened when a girl was kidnapped because she wanted a job in modeling and stuff like that. I mean, we're not safe anymore.
For them to be able to have access to take our kids and our women out of the country, there must be someone that's actually, you could say, involved or whatever, but I don't think there's actually enough being done to try and avoid such.
It's not gender-based. It's something ukuthi ikhona inkinga, and our kids, we have stories of young boys abathathiwe bavayiswa baya India to be exploited by yosebenza and so forth. So I don't think it's gender-based. I think it affects wonke umuntu.
Thola ukuthi umuntu uzohlangana nomuntu ku social media, after that amthola nasi isithuba somsebenzi. As we know that youth yase South Africa ishota ngemisebenzi most of the time. So uzothola umuntu athola ku social media athanda ngumsebenzi, after uyahamba engaqalanga wa research wamele aqale wonke umuntu athole details according to what is she or is looking for.
System yabo khata abasekazi la enhle into abayaziyo nje ukubopha nje investigate nokulandelela ukuthi no dealings lezi ama syndicate wakhona ava abobana bayenza le dealings zonke lezi zinto lezi, they are not exposed to that information, uyangithola. So bona they would rather bakubambe mhlawumbe makuthiwa khona umuntu opimpile ukuthi no uvecha uyahambisa kuchi lapho bangeza ke uyangithola.
The parents, they must stand up for the like baba the baby awake until, because most they go there because of money. Some they go unaware.
So those were some of the comments from young people on the streets. You know, human trafficking is an extremely serious issue, and our young women in particular are the most vulnerable group to sex traffickers and cheap labor worldwide. With that, we want to say good evening and welcome to Expressions. My name is Jacqueline Mapala. As you know, this is definitely the place where you all get to air your views, right, Mko?
Yeah, indeed, Jackie. Now, the month of August is definitely inyanga lapho sikwazi khona highlight ama issues athintana nabantu besifazane. Now, namhlanje kusihlwa we ask, is poverty a contributing factor in the rising incidence of human trafficking, Jackie?
And I hope it's a question that we'll be able to answer at the end of the show, because women are still facing challenges that infringe on their rights. A young woman by the age of 23 years old from Richards Bay in northern KwaZulu-Natal went missing for 2 months and was later discovered in hospital in Nigeria. It's alleged that she was abducted and drugged.
Wow, Jackie, and Jalo, our police minister Ubaba Ufigile Mbalula has warned young people not to trust the internet. Now, according to the minister, Facebook and the internet played a key role in Mahlangu being lured to Malaysia under the false impression that she would partake in a modeling competition. Let's quickly find out what our producer Umzianda Ogambedla was told.
In South Africa, the word blesser is used to describe an older man who gifts a younger woman in exchange for sex, also known as a sugar daddy. For many economically vulnerable young girls, this is the only source of income and financial freedom.
Most of these young people are lured, especially through social media. So that is where they are groomed to being lovers of these men. And at the end of it all, it gets to that point where they shower them with whatever that they need, your airtime, your phones, all the fancy things that they need. And once they are then groomed, they find a perfect time to then introduce them to drugs. And once they're introduced to drugs, most of them end up being in drug houses and brothels, and most of them end up disappearing.
Once young girls are tricked into trafficking, they go through what Shirley calls the initiation process, where they are kept in a dark room, repeatedly raped and injected with various drugs.
That is where then you are told that, remember when you came here, I'm the one who paid your transport, I'm the one who's currently paying for your food, I'm the one who's currently paying for your shelter, so you have to work for it.
This payback process is called debt bondage, whereby the girls are forced to pay back the traffickers for drugs through selling their bodies.
We're sugarcoating human trafficking, bless her. We're sugarcoating pimp, bless her. We're sugarcoating the taxi driver, taxi owner drivers that has 20 taxis or 30, bless her. We're sugarcoating a rapist, bless her.
All I can say to most of our young girls is glamour doesn't just come from you having a blesser or you having a sugar daddy or you having that boyfriend that makes you do things that you don't want to do just because you need something. Education is very vital. That is why you need to go to school, educate yourself, because through education there is self-sustainability.
Wow, social media and the internet, are they social vices and are they putting young women in danger? We're going to be answering this question, but to help me unpack this issue and to take this discussion further, I'm joined in studio by Colonel Angelina Mahlabe from Human Trafficking Department of Hawks, as well as Veronica Khantana from Gauteng Department of Social Development. Ladies, welcome to Expressions.
Good evening. Good evening.
And talking about social media, I'm never alone in studio. My co-host Nkolisi is with me, and he's going to be manning the social media corner and giving us a little bit of insight and perspective from you, Kochaye. So make sure you stay tuned, but we're going to get straight into this conversation. Angelina, maybe let me start, I think, with you and really pose and direct a poll question to you. Is poverty the reason why young women are becoming vulnerable to human trafficking?
I think that is very true. The young women are being led into being promised work. They're being told that there are greener pastures somewhere there they have to work, and then therefore they believe they are perpetrators. But when they arrive at the destiny of work, things are not as they were promised. And another thing, remember, if you are vulnerable and if you need a job, you will believe anything when people are promising you. So our young girls are victims to that. And again, they fall into traps of being promised bigger salaries, bigger money or bigger opportunities. And at the end of the day, you find that they're in trouble. But from the Hawk side, we are very committed. We are willing to help. We need information to come. And then there are some measures in place to try to curb this scourge of crime.
Veronica, why is it so easy for young women to literally be trafficked across our borders? Do we not have laws? Do we not have regulations that protect them?
You know, when the traffickers arrange for this person to go abroad, they would sometimes have fraudulent travel documentation, or they would have correct documentation but fraudulently obtained. So if I go out of the country, I would have, you know, a passport. I would have, for instance, a holiday visa for 30 days. So the documentation is in order in most of circumstances, but other times it might be that, you know, that the documentation is not in order.
Are we saying to our young women who are watching the show right now that they're not safe? Because what is going through my mind right now is that these people clearly know what they're doing. They know how to outsmart young people. Are we safe? Are young women in South Africa safe?
We cannot say they're not safe, but at the same time, we are saying that they must be aware of what's going on. They must be aware of their surroundings. They must know the people around them. If somebody is recruiting you for job opportunities, please find out if there is exactly whatever the person is saying is true. And another thing, you cannot just know a person for 2 days and you leave the country with that person. I guess it's wrong. I think everybody knows that it's wrong. So young girls must just know the people, know their surroundings, and do research on what is going on. Do research on the job they're looking for. And especially when coming to the issues of Facebook or media,
social media, yes.
social media, they must just know that they cannot trust somebody they don't see, because at the same time, those companies, we are not even sure that they exist. That Facebook page might have been created 2 days ago or whenever, so they must just make sure that they do proper background check before they leave the country or before they take any job opportunities. At the same time, we don't want to scare them.
So one of the young people on our insert that we played mentioned the fact that she doesn't feel that enough has been done. And I think I just want to find out from you, representing the Hawks, I mean, how many convictions have you had? Are you catching these people?
We are. We have a significant amount of cases we have done. And then we've got proof, we've got lengthy sentences. We've got one of the cases where there were 8 life sentences imposed on one person. We've got 15-year sentences. There's a lot of sentencing, which it is there as proof that we are doing something about it.
What is, and I want to direct this to you, Veronica, what is it that young people can do proactively? I mean, yes, research is important. Yes, it's good not to travel abroad with someone you've just met 2 days ago. But what can they do proactively right now to ensure that they protect themselves from being victims of human trafficking over and above just what maybe Angelina has just mentioned now?
You know, in addition to what Angie said, I think young people must ask questions. They must be very open-minded when it comes to boyfriends, when it comes to people just showering you with gifts. They must know if an offer is too good to be true. Then there's definitely something fishy going on.
Okay, so what is an offer that is too good to be true?
If a job opportunity says no matric needed or just matric is a requirement, but you will get a salary between 40 and 50,000, that is, it's never going to work nowhere in the world. So that is already, a warning sign. But what young people can also do, when they see an advert of a company, they can contact the Department of Labor, because they would know whether this is a registered and a legit. They must be mindful for companies that only have cell numbers and no physical address and no landlines. They can also contact the helpline in Cape Town, because they are connected with many stakeholders, and they will tell you whether this is a legit or not a legit advert. I mean, big companies like Qatar, for that matter, you'll see a link, and it looks all in order. But when you send it, Qatar would say, but you must look for this and this. It's actually not us posting this particular advert.
So young people have to be vigilant. Yes, they have to be vigilant.
Totally.
And I mean, as much as it is important for you to exploit opportunities that are out there, it's also very important for you to ask the right questions. Yeah. But we have more after this. Stay with us.
Ake siphinde sinibingelela sinamukela sahlezi nathi la Expressions on SABC1, the #1 youth current affairs show. Namhlanje kusihlwa siyabuza, is poverty a contributing factor in the rising incidence of human trafficking? Now, before we give the story a human element, namhlanje kusihlwa sino Sandy, so who's joining us right here in studio. Now, before we get to you, ungakhohlwa nawe lapha ekhaya, do join in the conversation. Sikhona on 011-714-0852. You can also check us out on our Facebook page. It's called as Expressions SABC1, as well as on Twitter as Expressions_10. Once again, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Mko.
Unjani? Hey.
Right, sharp.
We're good. Now, Sabambele Tamdas this evening, we're talking about human trafficking. Now, abantu basemakhaya bazi ukuthi you really bring in a human element to this entire story. When wasuswa ekhaya e-Eastern Cape, uthenjiswe ithuba lokuba imodel ngapha kwandonga ziyaduma, right? Just tell us briefly what happened.
Well, ngize up at Joburg last year, March, and then I was chasing a dream, which is being an artist, a rapper. So I came here and then I did modeling as a freelance. And then November, I was picked up by a newly to be opened record label. So they promised me heaven and earth, yes. And then November, December, they gave me that heaven and earth. I was on big stages performing, and it was fun, balling.
This was in a space of what, 2 months, 3 months?
2 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I went home December for Christmas. And then Abuya January. And then when I came back January, because Bate, Mandeke modeling, Mandeke anything, they'll take care of me. And then I saw that, yeah, they are taking care of me. And then Manje, Kanbuya, fine. I went there, and then they were like, okay, fine, move here by the studio house, and then stay here. We'll take care of you. And I was like, okay, fine. I went there, and then I stayed. And then my producer started sexual harassing me, you know. He started like abusing me and all that stuff, but akazange one heater or something. Yeah, he started like in the middle of the night, and then he'll take my hand and then put it against his penis and all that crap. Yeah. So I reported the matter to the manager. So the manager was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna fix it. But he didn't come. And then I had to report it to the boss. And then the boss sent the manager. And then Manjandias Buza, why are these people like, instead of taking me out of here, they just come and talk, and then they leave me here. And then the month, that was from February. I escaped like the 15th of June. That's when I left. And then I told myself that I'm never gonna go back there again. Yeah. Because Manje, after all that, after everything that they were doing to me, they weren't like taking any actions. And then I asked myself, okay, the boss got money and all that. Why can't he take me to a room, rent me a room or something? Okay, fine, I'm chasing a dream. I'm chasing a dream in music industry. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna open my legs for the whole world. Because I told myself that I'm not gonna throw my life in a sick line. And I'm not gonna throw my life in a body that went pap line. Tologuti manji body say pap. So anyways, and so forth, and then they kept calling me about producer after I left, and then I was in pieces. I was going through a breakdown. Yeah, that's still like that. At the end of July, I want to have something, and then at the end of July, I signed with the newly to be opened modeling agency in Pretoria with a monthly paycheck.
So
of course.
There's something that really got me via email.
Yes.
Someone said to you, in order to make it in the industry, you need to sleep with people and sleep your way up. That's what's kati uphethe italente. This is a classic case, most of, a story of hope that's gone completely wrong.
Yes, they say that when you're a girl, you must sleep your way out. Baby Angela, like, okay, so you have this body and this look. If I was you, I'll be driving a Lamborghini, I'll have blessers and all that crap. And then I told myself, there's no way. Like, there's no way.
Perhaps this is also something we will throw back to our panelists, but let's just quickly take a caller who's calling us from Ivory Park. Good evening and welcome to Expressions. Spamandla, sawubona. Okay, I think we've lost Spamandla. Once we have him back on the... Spamandla, hello? Kunjani, siyaphila kunjani buthi?
Ngiyaphila.
Uthini umbono wakho namhlanje kusehlo?
Uyazi webhuti mina one thing enginotisile. Ukuthi those people who have operated this business or ama-syndicate abonile ukuthi abantu besifazane they are too desperate for umsebenzi, especially izinto esiyibona la eJozi program. Kunomuntu osuke emakhaya wesifazane azofunda, ufuna ubona ama-opportunities amaningi especially ku-social media, then ashawe ukuthi manje asikho isikhathi sokuthi ngalokho abe-researcher enza in especially abo.
Okay, so thank you very much for that call. But just Pamandla, of course, saying, it's pretty much touch and go most of the time when you're desperate. So sift through and find out what's legit and what's not. And we've got another caller joining us there from Ezonki Zizwe. Oh, we've lost that caller there. Once we've re-established that line, we'll go back straight to it. Maybe we should take a few Facebook comments. Facebook. Now, Mlandeli says, I think that poverty is very powerful to humans. All I can say is that government must work hard to decrease the high rate of poverty in South Africa. I don't think that it can be a contributing factor in human trafficking. #Expressions. Now, that is the #1 winning hashtag. And maybe a quick one before we go to the break. Musa Wengosi says, I'm not aiming to discriminate, but we need to do more, and says poverty does not mean we can sell each other. It is just that we like bulk cash. Quick cash much, and we lazy to think and work for that cash. That's according to Musa Wengosi. And of course, do keep those Facebook comments coming. We're in standby to receive them. There's more on this all-important discussion when we return.
Welcome back. You're watching Expressions, and we are discussing the issue of human trafficking in South Africa. And our poll question that we're asking you this evening is poverty a contributing factor to the rising incidence of human trafficking that we're seeing? Now, I'm still joined by my guest, Angelina, as well as Veronica. Some very, I think, interesting comments came across, especially about the issue of desperation. Are women really that desperate? Are they putting themselves in these very vulnerable positions purely out of desperation? Veronica, should I just address this to you?
Sometimes women might be desperate, and as much as poverty is a big push factor, it is not the only reason why people fall prey to human trafficking. But sometimes young people just want to explore. They just want to see how's things in Italy, how's things in the UK, and it's it's not always poor people that get trafficked. It's also people who have, went through school, university, working for that matter, social workers. Nobody's excluded of falling prey of becoming a victim of trafficking.
And we were discussing this during the break around our expectations of who the perpetrators of human trafficking is. The expectation is that the men are the ones who are trafficking young people, young women. Is that necessarily true?
Not necessarily so. You'll be surprised that the recruiters are women. We find that women are recruiters and then the exploiters are men. As women, we trust other women. So it is easy for these recruiters to access young girls to say, look here. And women are known to be humble people, are known to be nourishing people. So therefore, the victims will believe them while the victims are believing them. Behind them, there is exploiters, and then they'll end up being exploited.
And look, I mean, we want to wrap this up and just give some closing comments, but I think most importantly, insight for young people, just so that they don't end up in these kinds of positions. Veronica, can I just allow you just to close this up for us and just give some wisdom to young people who are watching the show right now?
I would really tell young people, if they're in doubt, phone 0800 222 777, and they will receive the necessary assistance.
Thank you. And I think it definitely will help them a lot. And I think for you, Angelina, I mean, you're the Hawks. A lot of young people are looking to you to protect them. Please reassure them again what you are doing to ensure that they are safe.
From our side, I'm doing disruptive operations. These disruption operations, I'm doing them in mind with the purpose of eliminating human trafficking. We try to dismantle the whole trafficking network. And then when coming to a commercial sex work, we are trying to raid these places so that we can retrieve the girls, remove the girls from there. Those who want to be removed, it's easy for them to get help from us.
So something is being done. Something is
definitely
being done.
Ladies,
thank you so much. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of this conversation, but thank you so much for your insight and your wisdom, and just for at least reassuring young people out there that something can be done to really overcome this big issue of human trafficking.
And of course, great insight coming in. To quickly verify and check your facts. Thank you so much for that. And of course, Lapikaya and Joba Wazuguti, we like to know what you want us to discuss, because this is your show. Let's quickly find out next week.
Hi Expressions, my name is Matapelo Mplo. As we unfold the Women's Month, I would like Expression to talk about women abuse. As we know that women are being abused daily in our life, this has become a very serious problem. So would you please tackle that issue? Thank you.
Remember to send us more of your video diaries. As Mklo said, this is definitely your show, so we love to hear what you want us to discuss on upcoming shows. I want to say a big thank you to our ladies for sharing their insight and the wisdom. Thank you so much for your strength and for really overcoming what you had to go through.
Yeah, and thank you so much now, Lapikaya, for Rugubanati. We're back again next week. We wish you a spectacular evening going forward. Take care. Good night.
Ciao, ciao.